Classic Offensive really deserved better. I don't know how else to put it. I've played through multiple matches of it. I've had a lot of fun with it since release. It is a joy. It's everything I wanted from a new Counter-Strike game. It's the best of both worlds, capitalizing on Condition Zero's additions and the promises of its original content, with the smooth gameplay and visuals of Global Offensive. It's just a shame what happened to it, all the drama with Valve and everything else. I don't know what to believe at this point, especially because Reddit is not a good source of info. So, let's dive into this amazing mod that was killed right before its prime. Classic Offensive is a mod for Counter-Strike Global Offensive that aims to recreate the gameplay feeling of 1.6 and the aesthetics of 1.6 within the source engine, the Global Offensive branch specifically. It's meant to cater to original fans of Counter-Strike while incorporating the quality of life changes from Global Offensive. So the Global Offensive menus are there, you don't need to buy ammo for your gun when you purchase it, but the original arsenal is present. So like the Benelli M3 is there instead of the Nova, there isn't a Mag 7 or a sawed-off, at least not without cheating, and other balance and faction changes are there, like being able to choose between the 4 terrorist and counter-terrorist factions, with their own designs reflecting the 1.6 versions instead of the Condition Zero versions. But on that note, content from Condition Zero still gets to shine here. There's an optional mode that allows you to enable guns from that game, specifically from deleted scenes and from the original Gearbox version of it. So this includes the M60 machine gun as an option, which is a machine gun that gets more accurate the more you fire it. It deals a lot of damage, but isn't as fast as the M249, and it's big and heavy, so that has its own disadvantages. There's the Molotov, which is ported from Global Offensive, and it serves the same role that it would have in Condition Zero and does in Global Offensive, using it to block off passages and to potentially discourage enemies from running through it, buying your team time. This also includes the Riot Shield, which I'm sure will induce plenty of rage in people who fight against it, limiting you to a pistol, but allowing you to block bullets from the front. A lot of nice additions. My favorite is the Law Grenade, a single-shot, expensive rocket launcher that can absolutely devastate enemies with direct hits, or deal indirect splash damage. It's like if the HE grenade blew up on impact and didn't have an arc, but was much more expensive. Classic Offensive, by default, comes with a decent amount of content with maps, and especially with modes. These are modes that the community loved, that the developers brought in, because they knew that people would want to branch out into this kind of stuff. There's the classic and competitive modes from Global Offensive, as mentioned before, the Condition Zero mode. There's also Zombie mode, naturally, where one player starts off as an infected and has to attack the rest of the team, and whichever team is the last one standing wins. It's fun when things get increasingly turned against you as more and more players get infected and you're being chased across the map, being forced to fight for your life. There's Gun Game, the classic of course, swapping weapons as you rank up and get more kills. Deathmatch, which plays a lot like the Counter-Strike Global Offensive version, where you get options to buy weapons at the start, and whoever has the most points at the end wins. There's Instagib, which is a new, kind of hilarious mode where you're armed with a railgun and a knife, and it's a deathmatch against everybody else. You're running around shooting lasers, hitting enemies in the head, it makes them explode. It's a deathmatch variant, but it's a lot of fun, and it makes creative use of some existing assets, along with new stuff. There's Kill Confirmed, which plays sort of like the Call of Duty equivalent, where enemies leave kill rewards you can collect. And if your teammate dies, you can try to collect it before the enemy can. And a bunch of other things I'm not even thinking of. This doesn't even touch on the map-exclusive modes. Like, for instance, the India level limits you to ops only, because it's built around sniping, even though it's a small arena. And you can combine these modes. You can play zombie mode in the India level, where everybody has ops, and you're basically using bolt-action rifles against a zombie horde. And if that sounds unbalanced and prone to being chased around the map, while you flail helplessly with a high-power sniper, it is. And it's a lot of fun. The bots are also pretty good. Much like Condition Zero and Source and Global Offensive, Classic Offensive comes with bots who will use the different weapons available to them. This includes the Condition Zero editions as well, like the M60. You can find bots picking that up and using it. Their difficulty depends on what you set it to in the menu. You can go from harmless to extreme, and bots will go accordingly. Medium's a good balance. You crank it up higher when you feel like you're good enough at it. It's nice because it reminds me of Condition Zero, the pick up and play sort of attitude. Counter-Strike is extremely competitive, and you can find people online with Classic Offensive, amazingly enough. Communities have popped up since this came out, but I'm the sort who just likes to play with bots. Maybe it's a cop-out, but I just like the low to no stakes aspect, where I can just join and quit as I please. But either way, I mean, if you want human players, aside from setting up a match yourself, there are still people making servers for Classic Offensive, even though it never got an official release. Honestly, like, the map selection's good. I mean, even though it was definitely a work in progress, it wasn't finished when it got leaked. There are about over a dozen maps, and they do play pretty uniquely. The workshop option includes some extra maps that were left out of the main rotation, like Office and Aztec. And there's a firing range that allows you to test out the different guns, including a couple of Easter egg weapons, like the Beta M4 with the scope, or the TF2 rocket launcher of all things. It's an amazing mod, and I think what hurts most is that this could have been a classic. No pun intended. It's a lot of fun. It encourages different play styles by giving you options to play with bots. It takes what worked in 1.6 and incorporates aspects of what worked in Go. It's just great. There's a lot of creativity with the different modes they added. The weapons all look great. They even have that left-handed aesthetic that the regular 1.6 guns did. The animations are similar. It's a love letter to the original Counter-Strike games. And it's a shame it got treated the way it did. I have no idea if the leaked code accusations were true, or if they were true, how long they were still active, because I've read all sorts of rumors. I've read rumors that it was still using leaked code, that was fixed later on, that it never used leaked code, and so on. It's a mess of he said, she said, and I honestly am just judging the product based on the end result. And the end result is a very, very fun mod that can stand on its own merits, honestly. It has a lot to like. And there's even more hidden under the surface. There's content for Danger Zone that goes unfinished. Pretty much all of the Global Offensive guns are there. It'd be neat to see a mod that adds them in addition to the Condition Zero ones, for sort of like a Counter-Strike Generations thing, where you could have the Negev and everything alongside the M60 and the decoy grenade and all that, since all those assets are present. But we'll never know. The mod wasn't finished. I don't think the developers wanted it released either. From what I heard, they were pretty upset about that, which I get. Valve told them not to release it, and they didn't. Someone else did. And as much as it sucks to have your work shuttered, it's even worse when you could be blamed for something you didn't even do. I guess it's easy to look around and look for someone to blame. I mean, Reddit was all over the mod, just demonizing it ever since it got cancelled. I don't know why. I like Valve too, even though they make missteps, but I feel like there could have been a better approach than this. But I don't really know who to point fingers at, who to blame, and I think that's kind of irrelevant at this point. What matters is that Classic Offensive has had a good launch despite not even having an official launch. But it deserved an even better one. It deserved better treatment as a love letter to the community and as a love letter to Counter-Strike modding. Especially when Counter-Strike started as a mod. It just shouldn't have been cut down at its prime. I'm sure the player base would have been even bigger. It doesn't have the microtransactions of Global Offensive. It doesn't have the weird team recognition issues of Counter-Strike 2. It's its own game. It captures the feeling of what 1.6 felt like when we were younger, or Source. I don't know, 1.6 was before my time, but it still is cool. I've played it. I like the zombie modes on it. And I would highly recommend trying out Classic Offensive. Even if it never got an official release, you can still find it if you dig around for it. You don't even have to go to darker areas of the internet. That's how circulated it's become. Maybe Valve will change their minds in the future and find a workaround. Because, as it is, the mod is begging for a release, even if it's just on ModDB. It's that good. I loved it that much. I just wish it had gotten a better send-off than being shelved and eventually being leaked. That's not how a mod with this much work in it should be treated, especially one that had been in the works for years. Thank you all for watching. Hope to see you guys on Classic Offensive. Take care.